Yeah, let's start. I would like to start with a very general overview, but shows a little bit what I'm trying to explain in a minute. So this is our actual CO2 rich energy supply. It is chemical based, cheap, stored energy. Unfortunately, it works very well, but we have all these CO2 emissions. And what we have to do is to change to renewable energy, and there are mainly three options. One is nuclear energy, but we need a repository for the waste. And in Switzerland, we found this is a very difficult issue. And so also the technology is not really accepted. This means this option is not really available for the next couple of decades. Then we have a second option. This is to further use fossil energy, but to capture carbon or CO2 emissions and store them in the underground. This is a part of the research, but also has similar discussion. So maybe the technology is available, but the acceptance is not clear, and also the costs are not very clear. However, fossil energy will not remain forever, so maybe we will not find investor enough to invest in this technology. So maybe this technology is not available also. So we may remain only on renewable energy. And of course, renewable energy has a fluctuating character, and we don't are successful without a lot of electricity storage. But there is one main difference between these three technologies. So while for nuclear energy and fossil energy, we can start producing energy and say repository and carbon capture and storage we will do later, this will not work with renewable energy. Renewable energy needs storage because especially for photovoltaics and wind, the energy is too concentrated, and we have also days, hours without enough production, and that's why electricity storage becomes a very important issue, maybe the more important issue than the renewable energy production, because the production is, let's say, solved. We can produce enough energy, but maybe we are not able to store enough. And what I would like to show is that the future mobility should not always rely on renewable energy, but also should contribute on a systemic way in this electricity storage field. However, mobility is a very heterogeneous issue. So maybe leisure mobility is one very important issue. This is hard to control because sometimes leisure mobility is related to special transports or to long distances, and all this makes it very difficult. And if maybe we switch to a more renewable mobility, for example, we switch to electric mobility, but then the vacation traffic are done by airplane, we do not win something. We always have to care about the whole issue. But I would like to go to two things from where is the renewable energy come and what powertrain technologies we need. So when we look to the CO2 emissions of different powertrain technologies, here you see gasoline, internal combustion engine vehicles with gasoline engine, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, fuel cell vehicles, and battery electric vehicles. These are data from the Paul Scherrer Institute car calculator software, then we see the most important issue is to switch from fossil to renewable energy. If we compare fossil operated vehicles, they are always similar high. And if we compare renewable energy operated vehicles, they are always similarly low. But they are not at zero. We still have emissions, so we always should think about to include negative emission technologies. Now, when we go to modify our energy system, we will maybe end up at something like this. Blue color means hydropower in Switzerland with a peak in summer. The yellow colors means photovoltaic. And here we replaced 50% of the well-suited roofs are equipped with photovoltaics, and this is about 25 terawatt hours, and this replaces 25 terawatt hours of nuclear power. So within this diagram, we see what is desired maybe in 2050 when we install 25 terawatt hours of renewable electricity or photovoltaics. We will then see in summer a lot of excess electricity. And today we also have excess electricity in summer, but we can export them to other countries. But in 2050, maybe northern part of Italy and southern part of Germany will have excess electricity at the same time. And then if we do not make usable this electricity, maybe the photovoltaics will not be installed. And the second issue is in winter, we will have a lack of electricity. So we need either seasonal storage, which is expensive, or we need the import of renewable energy, which is also not very easy. When we look at the situation, for example, in Germany, we see that the excess electricity, this is electricity which is curtailed, is increasing over time. So in Germany in 2017, they curtailed 5,500 gigawatt hours of electricity, and they paid 600 million euros for this not produced electricity. This is good for the electricity plant operator because they have the revenue even if the electricity is not used, but I think this will not work forever. In our opinion, it is better to spend this 600 million euros to make usable this 5,500 gigawatt hours of renewable electricity. And we have a similar situation in China. For example, we look here at the full load hours of solar energy. So within a couple of years, it is decreased by 20%, not because of the sun is shining less in China, but because of the photovoltaic systems are more and more producing excess electricity. That's the reason why we think we need hydrogen and synthetic hydrocarbons because of this excess electricity. Of course, the most important thing is always to use electricity whenever it is possible, but it is better to convert it to hydrogen than to curtail it. And also for long distance transport, we think it is easier to convert it to methane, even if we lose some energy, but then we have a transportable energy carrier. Now, what powertrain technologies do we need? We made some investigations and I show you two diagrams here. The left one is our data from microcensus data 2010, and we see here distribution over daily distances driven by cars. So a few cars are operated less than 1 kilometer per day, and a few cars are used for several hundred kilometers per day. and in between we have the whole distribution. And here this curve shows the number of trips, and this curve here shows the mileage. And we see if we take maybe 50 kilometers as a limit, 70% of the trips are shorter than 50 kilometers, but they are only responsible for 30% of the mileage, while the 30% longest trips are responsible for 70% of the mileage. This means the long distance transport has a very relevant, a high relevance regarding the total emissions. And we investigated 1.5 million car advertisements from AutoScout24, and we see that 1/3 of the vehicles are driving 50 kilometers, 50% of the kilometers, while the 2/3 other cars are driving for the same distance. So this means one car in this field here is twice as relevant as one car in this field here. And from our point of view, for the most number of cars, we think electric mobility is the most suited powertrain technologies, while for the long distances, hydrogen and synthetic fuels will become more interesting because we need less infrastructure demand. In our future mobility demonstrator, we try to investigate all these technologies, being battery electric cars, hydrogen cars, or synthetic methane-driven cars. And this represents for me also a little bit the heterogeneity of mobility. So we have small cars, larger cars, delivery vehicles, working vehicles, trucks, and some of them are operated short distances, some long distances. I think we need all of these technologies, and these technologies should be brought into a competition, because then we will get more innovations than we ban certain technologies. However, the most important thing is to ban fossil energy and to allow in future only renewable energy. I think this is what I would like to tell you, and I would like to thank you for your attention.